All forms of activism, lesbian activism, feminist activism, gay men's activism, are always paving the way for the future, but in ways that we can't predict. The most important thing you can do for the future generation is license the way they want to inhabit their own sexuality.
I think DAM has contributed to activism by leading the way in terms of like media savvy, like using the media as a way to show issues. We're turning into like the brand name, the Corporation for Lesbian Identity. When we started doing this project, there was really nothing in lesbian culture that was made for lesbians in this very highly evolved way that included us in the world of imagery. So it's this thing about making our presence known on a lot of levels.
Our first campaign, I think, was primarily for us as Dykes, to see ourselves on the street in a positive way. We came up with the first campaign in '91, which was the Gap celebrity ads. We had this idea, well, what if we just saw our people out there, Dykes, because we were all wearing Gap anyway. What we're doing essentially is not advertising. It is public art. We're not selling anything, we have a message. In that way, our message has to constantly be evolving and changing in terms of, okay, it's not so controversial to put a lesbian out on the street right now in terms of advertising, so we have to come up with messages that are moving and controversial sometimes. We did a campaign about gay marriage. Again, we always pick up whatever the hot issue is in what we believe to be the hot issue in gay activism. And with gay marriage, both me and Carrie did have something we wanted to say about it. Is it worth being boring for a blender? The copy reads. Gay marriage, you might as well be straight. We have a balloon over one of the girls in the wedding dress in the poster saying, not what I had in mind. Well, what she's really saying is, in terms of my civil rights, it's not what I had in mind. Like, we had taken this position that, yeah, why aren't we fighting for our gay civil rights, not gay marriage necessarily? Marriage would be included in those civil rights. Yeah, you can get married, but you can still lose your job for being gay. Whether you agree with us or disagree, we've started people to think about this issue, which is really all we really wanted to do. You know all the jokes about, lesbians having no sense of humor. Of course, that's not the case with Dyke Action Machine. It's just so important to be able to laugh and have fun with yourself. And that mixing that with a political message and making art is just like, the ultimate fantasy for me. With the campaign that we have this year, Damn FAQ, we are addressing questions in a very tongue-in-cheek infotainment way. Amazon Pixels,
yeah,
and to Dyke Action Machine.
To the people who ask questions about lesbians.
Here, here.
We are now in the era of the joyful militant, which means that the production values are great and the concepts are funny and joyful and make you laugh and feel good about yourself. So you come away with a very positive experience, as opposed to the sad militant who is running around with signs, which there was a time for that. And then that was great with the advent of desktop publishing. And the computer, it brought people the tools for the first time. So now we have the same tools that every television studio has, every major corporation, every major Fortune 500 company has the same tools that we have. So now it's all about who has the better idea.
We have our posters on the street right now. There's about 5,000 of our posters all over New York City, scaffolding different sites. Excuse me, have you guys seen this poster up here? These are two questions that lesbians, believe it or not, actually get asked a lot. Are you two sisters?
Yeah, we are.
Are you guys sisters?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions that you would ask a lesbian?
No, who cares? My preference is to be with a man.
That's cool.
Their preference is to be with a man with a man, or a woman with a woman, but who cares? Live and let live.
Does it get you thinking, like, about, like, what it might be to be a dyke and be asked these kind of questions?
Which one's the man? Actually, you wouldn't really know. You wouldn't know how to ask this one if you don't really know someone who's a lesbian.
I actually think, especially this year with our new site, DAM FAQ, that DAM has kind of succeeded in the terms it set for itself, which is to completely infiltrate the media. We're in magazines, we're on the web, we're on the street, we are now being taught in academia. So this issue of representation, I mean, I feel like we have really made headway there.
We've always had this kind of fantasy from the beginning that we would become an advertising agency, that people would come to us and say, tell us what people want to see. You're lesbians, you know. You know, and we would have the inside scoop on not just how to go towards the gay media, but media as a whole.